What is poppin', everyone? Thank you so much for watching another episode of
Moral Dilemma.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Logan.
And we are
Moral Dilemma.
We're just gonna commit to doing that twice every episode.
Okay, I didn't.
We need to get that. We need to
Do we,
discuss that.
Right,
do we
put it in the
lose
script.
6 followers?
Yeah,
when we do
we're
that
gonna lose
twist?
an extra 6,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
we are at 250 followers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we hit
for the
250.
moment.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for liking. We had so many likes over the weekend, and we have a big announcement. We have been asking for it, and we got our first sponsorship, 7-Eleven. It's almost heaven.
Yep.
And so we are very proud to be sponsored by 7-Eleven right now. And in return, they have given us these Quake energy drinks.
Really good, by
and
the way.
These, what are those called, Corey?
They are iced cappuccino chilled coffee drinks.
So yeah, these Quake Energy, for those of you who are big into the energy drink game like I am, these are pretty much just like Bang and Reign. They're a little bit cheaper, and I think they're even better. They're delicious.
Yeah, I actually was really surprised.
Yeah, Eric's not a big energy drink guy,
No,
but he loves this.
this
We
is
have
black cherry.
Yeah, we all have the black cherry ones. We definitely recommend that. In the
Yeah.
past, I've also had the blue raspberry one. And that's really good too. But there's a lot of flavors. And what do you got over there, Corey?
I have this iced cappuccino, which is basically 7-Eleven's version of Starbucks Frappuccinos. I mean Starbucks. Sorry. But Ryan and Logan wanted me to mention that.
How's that tasting?
It's actually really good.
Yeah?
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean,
They're pretty good.
I'm excited to dive into one of those.
Hey, and also for those gym junkies out there, this Quake has your BCAAs and your creatine.
Yeah.
It also has electrolytes and whatever CoQ10 is. I'm not sure what that is. but
CoQ10?
I'm sure it's good for you.
It is good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the same ingredients as Bang, but it's Quake Energy. It's at every 7-Eleven you go to, and they are so good.
I'm about to do my first taste test.
Oh yeah, Logan's gonna do a first taste test.
What I really like too is it was really cold. Ooh.
Oh,
That was
wait one sec.
That was
Logan's
nice.
a big energy drink guy, so it's gonna be cool to see what he thinks. Drum roll, please.
I approve.
That deep voice got you choked up.
I was literally trying not to die.
But yeah, these things are super good.
Yeah.
I would
Big
just like
fan.
to mention that I'm not hating on the energy drinks. I actually have heart problems, so
Yeah.
I don't drink energy
An
drinks.
energy drink might kill Corey right now.
So I'm sticking with the coffee. But
Yeah, Corey, show us your shirt, or tell us about your shirt.
Logan wanted me to point out my shirt because my cousin made me this. And those of you listeners that don't know, I am also a diabetic. And I saw this shirt online. I really liked it.
got all kinds
And
of
it
crap
says guns, coffee, and insulin on it. And if you're watching the video on our Facebook page, I will show the shirt now.
Yeah, it's literally just got
Take
it says
it off.
gun, it's got a picture of a
Take it
gun,
off.
coffee, picture of coffee, and then his insulin. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
but
picture of the insulin too.
The insulin pump.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
thought it was a car battery.
Yeah. That's what it takes to keep them going. Car battery.
But yes,
Mad Max.
thank you 7-Eleven one more time for all this. Definitely recommend this stuff. We're not just saying this because it's a sponsor.
yeah,
They're actually really good.
This is really good stuff.
I was buying these before you even sponsored, so
And to be honest, we're not getting paid.
yeah, this is not like it's a paid sponsorship.
Yeah.
So like us recommending this should actually mean something. So definitely go in there, buy like 10 of them. Actually, when I went, I think there was a deal. It was like 2 for $3.33 or something, and that's a good deal.
Yeah.
So stop drinking Bang, stop drinking Reign, get yourself some Quake. That's our slogan. All right,
let's kick this puppy
yeah,
off.
we got an awesome episode. Man, it's kind of intimidating because we have 250 likes on our Facebook page now. I feel like there's a lot of people
Pressure's on.
A lot of
watching
pressure.
now.
Can I just say I missed you guys?
Oh yeah, Corey wasn't here
Yeah.
last
Oh,
week.
wasn't
Corey.
here.
We
Why
missed
do you
you,
keep
man.
going on vacation?
You know?
He's a popular guy with his fiance.
He's a public figure.
Went to
Did
the
you just see
beach.
the lighthouse this time?
I did get to see
Hey,
Lighthouse.
Did you
congrats.
really? Yeah.
Congrats, man. Did you
But-
cry?
Yeah.
Did
like
you
a baby.
redo the proposal?
No.
You should have.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, we missed you too.
But speaking of
you the most.
vacation and trips, we're going to be talking about cruising tunes. We're going to talk about our favorite music to listen to on the road, on road trips. I listen to music every second I'm in the car. Before I even pull out of the driveway, I got some music going.
Well, I guess that gives me a thought. Like, what's your routine? Do you work on a playlist before you go?
So
I can tell
I
you
do.
as Ryan's brother that he works on the playlist as we drive.
as you
I
drive?
do that sometimes.
It is very unsafe,
I
and
do that
I
sometimes.
I
So you're
can attest-
driving and you're adding the
Well,
songs?
not
Yes.
adding songs. I mean,
Oh,
if
that
a
is-
song comes on that I like, but I just love making. I have, I don't know, probably like 60 playlists, and I love making playlists. I like just having different playlists to go to. But a lot of time, what happens is I make a playlist I really like, and I get stuck on that one for like 3 months.
And Spotify is your main
Spotify.
go?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Spotify for sure. Spotify. It has that. Yeah, sponsor is Spotify. Wouldn't be as good as 7-Eleven though. But yeah, right now the playlist I listen to when I drive. Right now I'm in like a indie rock phase.
Now this is your cruising playlist, right?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is my everything playlist right now.
Okay.
Wait, you just dropped it.
Yeah, I know. I had to drop down. I got shorter. But yeah, I'm listening to a lot of indie music. Like, I don't want to recommend some of these people.
So what
'cause,
kind
I mean,
of music is Indian music?
No, not Indian.
Are you listening to like throat music, like hey, oi, oi, oi?
Indie music kind of covers a very wide spectrum of sounds, but for the most part, it's kind of your typical like
Like Sundance music.
Sundance music.
I don't know. It's not a genre.
No. Like right now I'm listening to an artist called Mac DeMarco a lot, and also an artist that I can recommend for all families, an artist called Dayglow.
Dayglow.
Dayglow. It's not Christian, but it's definitely family friendly, really awesome music. But indie music is kind of like kind of has this like made at home vibe. It's not super like go into a studio and pay $1,000. It's really kind of DIY sounding.
So a lot of unknown artists.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on
yeah.
the main.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I'd say a lot of these aren't really mainstream. I mean, there are mainstream indie artists, but a lot of times, like the deep cuts are what really gets
So
popular.
could you almost say that like anyone who gets into music and starts, like their stereotypical SoundCloud account starts off as kind of indie?
No, I mean indie.
Because if you said it's kind of a made-at-home sound, that
Well,
to me is like
it is like the songwriting and the instruments used and stuff.
I
Like I
see
mean, a
what you're saying.
SoundCloud rapper that's making rap music at home wouldn't be considered.
Okay,
would
yeah,
you
that-
be?
that makes
Maybe
sense.
an indie
Eric,
rap
Would you
artist,
say
I
it's
guess.
more?
if you kept
Would you say
writing
it's
music.
more acoustic feeling then?
Not necessarily, because
Like
a lot of
less
the ones I
electric?
listen to are very electronic. There's a lot of electronic things like Two Door Cinema Club. I don't know if you probably haven't heard of them.
Two Door Cinema Club.
I'm trying to think of some that you guys might know that are indie sounding. But yeah, that's what I'm listening to right now. It's really good road music too. It's usually kind of, I guess it can be either happy or really sad. But
Did Adele start as
what?
You just said Adele.
Adele? No, I don't think she'd be indie. She's
You
more
should be drinking an energy drink on
singer-songwriter.
this podcast, Eric.
I don't need energy to it.
No.
Yeah, that's what I listen to. But I listen to all kinds of music in the car. I go through phases of different kind of music I like listening
What about
to.
you, Corey?
I'm going to be very unpopular on this.
Oh no.
Because-
Reggae?
Is it country?
I just want to.
I do like reggae
so do
music.
I.
though.
I like Bob
I want
Marley.
to preface this by saying I've been on 2 trips, so I've actually had
Okay.
my fiance and I made a big like road trip playlist
Oh
specifically
no,
for
it's
these
all
2 trips.
romantic.
Oh, no.
No,
Taylor Swift.
No,
Taylor Swift's new album, I will add, though, is very, very good.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called? Folklore?
I think so.
Shake it
Um,
up.
Stop talking, Eric.
It's Shake It Off, not Shake It Up. Shake It On.
I thought you were making a joke, which is why I said stop it. But you really thought it was
Yeah.
shake it up.
Don't do that with your Quake energy before opening.
That's what I was thinking.
Corey,
But-
go ahead,
so-
buddy. I'm sorry. They keep
So
stealing your
both
limelight.
of my trips, when I saw Cruisin' Tunes, like Ryan said, I have like my standard stuff that I listen to all the time when I'm in the car. But I took
How many of those are my playlists that I've made that I've sent you?
There are a couple. I have some of my own too, though.
I don't think it's fair
Um,
that you don't share your playlist with me, or do you?
He
do you
did-
share
they're
it?
public.
I
You can
get it.
listen
They're
to them.
public.
Yeah.
I also
On me.
just quite frankly don't
I
think a
gotta
lot.
be public follower of you. I'm
Yeah.
not-
Do you have
can't-
Spotify?
Yes.
I'll send you
I
some.
have the free
I'll
version.
send you some. I mean, I don't send them to you sometimes because like there's a couple songs on there that I wouldn't like recommend listening to around children.
Oh,
But
Thank
I
you.
mean, I can send you some of my clean ones.
yeah.
But anyways, so when I took Cruisin' Tunes, our topic, I thought about like making a big trip.
Okay.
So like usually for us, that's going to the beach.
Yeah.
So whenever I think beach, I have a totally different mindset.
Okay.
So my normal music style goes out the window. I listen to a lot of like like oldies, like beat, just stuff that I consider beach music.
Oh yeah.
So that even can
Beach
that,
Boys?
Beach Boys, but
Down in
also
Kokomo?
like Jimmy Buffett,
Okay.
like Jimmy Buffett, Kenny Chesney, which is country, but he like considers himself like island ish. Like his he actually has like his major following. They call themselves No Shoes Nation, and
Oh,
they have
yeah.
like a pirate flag.
Uh-huh.
So I have like a lot of country that does get thrown in there, but I also listen to a lot of like classic rock and
Yeah.
that.
Amen,
so it's
Corey.
kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of
What's some of the classic rock you like?
If it's not Aerosmith, you're not saying the right.
oh, there's definitely
Okay,
Aerosmith
thank you.
on there. Yeah, if
I respect
if I don't
that.
listen to like,
AC/DC?
I was never a huge AC/DC
Okay.
guy. I mean, I respect
Oh, you don't like
them.
bagpipes?
Was it Fleetwood Mac?
I like Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood
But-
Mac?
Fleetwood.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sleek Wood Mac.
Fleet Street.
Fleet.
Oh,
Sweeney
But-
Todd, the demon barber on Fleet Street.
what are you even saying?
I don't
Dude, this
even know.
Quake Energy's got me
But-
going, guys.
But,
Sorry, Corey.
but there definitely are some like country artists on there, which
Okay.
I know you guys don't really like.
Well, Corey, you'd
But-
be surprised at my answer then.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I branched
Because
out.
I was also gonna say on that I also like Zach Brown Band,
Okay.
which a lot of people just know that chicken fried song or whatever.
with a little bit of chicken
yeah,
fried.
I hate
a
that
lot
song
of,
so much.
but I don't like that song either.
I like that song.
It was super overplayed when
Yeah.
it came out, and that kind of did it for me. But he also has an album called Jekyll and Hyde,
Okay.
and I really like
Gelatin Hyde.
yes.
I like that one too.
Yeah. So,
Wasn't
anyways, I was just letting him have his moment.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks,
I
Corey.
But anyways, yeah. So there's definitely a lot more country on that, and it's just like that. It makes me think of summertime.
Yeah, no.
So like when I'm heading to the beach, I would rather have the windows down than the air conditioning
Mm-hmm.
on, and I'd listen to some country.
See, when I went to Iceland, kind of going to the way you took this, me and my friends made an Iceland playlist, like probably 15 hours long.
It's a bunch of Mongolian throat singing too.
It was a lot of very atmospheric, vibey music. If you guys have ever seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty
Yeah.
movie, we inspired the whole playlist on that soundtrack, which is very, very mellow acoustic, I guess. But man, I
And
listen to it and get so nostalgic.
I think a lot of people have a huge emotional attachment to music too, and
Oh,
really, if you
yeah.
depending on where your trip is, if you set a playlist for your trip, like it can really set the mood
Oh,
for the
yeah,
whole trip,
for
like
sure.
of how your trip.
I'm all about chasing vibes, man.
Exactly.
And
I feel that.
What about
happens
you,
with
That's-
Eric?
Well, that's what I was thinking about. There's certain, I guess there's a playlist. If I'm driving by myself, I create my own playlist. But if I try to do the family thing. I try to mix it in with a lot of things that everybody else likes.
Yeah.
So we'll have some rap in there at a family thing. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
rap. It'll be
NF, I assume.
yeah, NF.
Who's the rap artist you met with your son Xavier?
Zonti.
Zonti?
Yeah, he's really good. I like it. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of songs out, but there's Fanatic, and then there is God Taught Me, which is
Okay.
really
Oh
good.
yeah, I've heard God
I'd
Taught Me.
highly recommend that. Check him those two
Wait, how do you
songs
spell
out.
that?
Zonti?
Yeah. Oh,
You're
I
asking me
shouldn't
to
have
spell?
asked you. Never mind.
Zautee, I think.
Zati?
Yeah.
Is there an
something.
N in it?
Yeah, maybe there is.
Yeah, you didn't spell it right then.
You asked him to spell Zonti right.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I was
gonna
a
look it
terrible
up.
speller anyhow.
So were those all your cruising tunes?
Well, I do get through these vibes where I like to listen to techno music and stuff like
Okay.
that. So
EDM?
yeah. So there's times like that. And then there's some times where I like to listen to a lot of spiritual things. So there's a lot of times, with me kind of creating dramas in the past, I try to listen to songs that kind of have there's
Okay.
just different songs that I've listened to through
Yeah,
the
for
time
sure.
that kind of, and I have this bad habit. If I start thinking of a drama, I will continue to play the song, and it kind of annoys my kids because it's like, but I'm visualizing the drama in
Yeah,
my head,
yeah, I
so
get
I like
that.
to.
Just
hear
real
the
quick,
song
Zonti is Zaunttee.
I left
which
out
wasn't
the
even. I think
No,
you
that
said
was. I said
at the end, didn't you?
ZAU.
He was close. He left out the end.
Yeah, I left out
Okay,
the.
okay,
I said
yeah,
TE.
Also,
Okay.
I'm just gonna put this out here. After this episode, we should tag in my full beach cruising playlist because I think that's what it's called. So if anyone's going to the beach, they can check it out.
I say we create a playlist and then
We
share
talk about a lot
with
about
it.
music, so I think
Yeah.
we should make
Yeah.
just like
We've
a
also
more
said like
Dilemma
3
playlist.
times that we make a playlist in Lincoln. I don't think we
Well,
ever
we
did.
could go through
We'll
just
make it a
the
goal. This
Okay.
is something we'll do. I'll do.
After this
my
episode, we're gonna
playlist
come
is
up with
already
one.
made
Yeah.
too, so I
Well,
mean,
why
I
don't we
can just-
each create our own playlist and just put it on
Sure.
there?
Okay,
And
sure.
then share. You know, we'll just call it Eric's Cruising.
And mine will be the best.
Ryan's will have like
I'll
7
get through
listens.
mine.
Hey, I appreciate though when I was playing music in my car. You were like, Eric, I'm pretty impressed.
I
You
said
got a
that?
pretty good. Yeah, you were pretty impressed by my.
I am
playlist.
impressed because I remember you started listening to a lot of 21 Pilots.
Oh yeah,
And
I
was
like 21 Pilots.
Dang man.
Brian, do you
Right.
remember when I hated 21 Pilots?
Yeah, I remember when
Probably.
a lot of the bands you say you like now you hated.
Yeah,
like
well, it's
Tiny
because
Moving Parts.
you forced them upon me. I have to listen to them.
My favorite 21 Pilot song is the hype.
The hype. Okay.
The reason why I love that song so much is because I think about it in the terms of everything else. You know, we think that everything's going to matter and it's not as big a deal as
Yeah.
we think it is.
Uh-huh.
So I love that. That's a good song.
Man, I hated the song Car Radio because that's all you would play.
That's
I don't
and
really
you
like
learned
that
it.
probably
song
my
much.
favorite.
You learned it on piano and you'd play it at home, and that's what got me. But let me just say, throw a few of mine out there real fast. My car playlist, my cruising tunes is usually I've recently picked up the guitar, so I'm learning how to play the guitar right now. So my
The
playlist,
guitar.
You actually serenaded me a couple weeks ago.
What's that?
You serenaded me.
Yeah,
a
I
couple
sang
weeks
Eric
ago.
a custom song in here.
You actually locked me in this room.
That's not a lie.
Is that why you were crying before last episode? Okay.
I was scared.
So anyway, where that's going is the music I listen to in the car are all of the songs I'm trying to learn how to play on
I see
guitar.
Banana Pancakes on there.
Yeah, so here's a few
what
that I'm
is
trying
banana
to.
pancakes?
Dude,
by
Jack Johnson.
Jack
One of the
Johnson?
first songs learning
I've
guitar.
never heard that.
It's a good beginner guitar
he's
song.
great.
It teaches you a lot of techniques right off the bat.
Wow.
So right now I'm big into Switchfoot songs. I love the style of Switchfoot, so I'm learning how to play the Vice Versa song on guitar. What
Dare You to
Hurts
Move?
the Most by Rascal Flatts. So there you go,
I
Corey.
love that song.
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
hate
branched
that
out.
song
I've branched
so
out
much.
I branched out into a little bit of country with playing guitar because
Yeah.
you know if you're playing acoustic guitar, you gotta appreciate country. And also shout out to my buddy Talon Mount. He got me into a little bit of country at school, and my roommate Lane. So
And we heard Talon's
Hey,
listening
Lane.
to the podcast.
Hey, Talon.
So,
yeah, Talon's
What's
a
the
devoted
T-Dog?
fan.
oh yeah, Talon, tell your dad we said hi.
Yeah. What's up, Talon's
Hi, Dad.
daddy?
we heard Talon's dad enjoyed the podcast a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, thanks for listening, buddy. I appreciate that. He's my neighbor. Next song is Nothing I Hold On To. I don't really have a specific artist for that. I just like the tune of
United
that song.
Pursuit,
Sure.
I think.
The Banana Pancakes, Jack Johnson, Love of a Lifetime by Firehouse. That's an oldie. Hotel California by the Eagles.
ooh, good one.
I thought that maybe that would be my first like solo I would try to tackle, the solo on
Have
that
fun
song.
with that.
I know.
It's like
That's
half
quite a
the
bit.
song.
I know. I'm shooting for the stars.
And
but-
then you should do Freebird.
Oh boy. And then also, I am a massive Casting Crowns fan. If you ask anyone I live with on campus, that is literally the only band I listen to through finals week because all their songs they deliver. My two favorites are "Set Me Free" and "Praise You in This Storm."
Okay.
Why'd you shake your head? You not like Casting Crowns?
I don't like Casting
There's
Crowns.
you're
a
a
Christmas
loser.
I really
song
don't.
that I want to do for Christmas Eve service.
Oh yeah.
And actually,
Are you singing?
No.
Oh, man.
What I'm saying is, like each Christmas Eve, it'd be cool to have a theme.
Okay.
And I think it's "Room in Your Heart" or something like that.
I haven't really listened to their Christmas album.
But check out their song because I think it'd be cool to talk about like there's no room in our heart for Christ is basically the idea of the song.
Oh, I know what song you're talking about
And
now.
it's a
Yeah.
great song, and I'd love to hear that song at Christmas Eve and kind of create a theme with our Christmas Eve services. So I actually would be sorry, go off tangent. But
No.
It's
That's
a really
good.
good song. Check that. I think it's "Is There Room in Your Heart" or something like that.
I'm about to find out. We can
Logan,
keep going.
I
though.
definitely respect your Casting Crowns shout out though because a lot of people kind of hate on them for some reason. Not like major
Yeah.
hate, but
kind
just
of a
like don't
meme.
like it.
Rhyme.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm
I
just not a fan.
I actually in one of like the worst times of my life. I was big. That was like when "Praise You in the Storm" came out.
Yeah.
So that was like my song.
I'm telling you what,
And
dude,
then-
it's powerful.
and
They're
then
so-
also-
really
this-
good drama song.
the song that I think is like really similar that goes right into that is "East to West."
yes.
So
Yep.
like those two together, I was like, man,
yeah.
like this is getting me through right now.
I also have another question. Where do you guys think you listen to the most music? Do you guys ever listen to music when you're not in the car?
I listen to a lot of music in the gym. So
I know we've talked about that.
that's more of EDM, hard rock. I'm also big onto music when this is kind of like my little thing about me, but I keep my room super clean. So whenever I clean my room, I always listen to music, which is kind of random, but that's another weird spot that I listen to music, but most of it's usually in the car.
See, I listen to music all the time. Like, even if, like, I'm just, like, sitting in my room, even, like, sometimes when I'm playing video games, I'll just, like, instead of listening to the video game audio, I'll just put in earbuds and listen to the music. Like, oh,
I can very rarely do that because I like to
yeah.
listen to the
Music's huge for me on campus because walking to classes while listening to music is just so, like,
Yeah.
satisfying.
Whenever, I would listen to music all the time,
Now,
studying.
what kind of headset do you use to listen to music?
Oh, AirPods Pro.
The
They're
best?
the most. They're the best. They're the best. They're the most versatile. The gym, they're fantastic. For walking around campus, you have that noise cancellation, but you can also turn it on to the active mode where you can hear everything around you. And they're also fit in your pocket, just like the old AirPods. People think they're bigger. They're not. They're fantastic. They're in ear, so they have better bass response. But good grief, you can talk on phone calls and have the active hearing on. They're the best.
Now, see, I listen to a lot of music with what I'm wearing right now, my Audio Technicas, because they're like a lot of times that's the headset that they use to mix it when they're like making the song, and I just think that's cool.
I think you're more of an audiophile though.
I don't know. I think I am. Another thing
Oh,
that
wait,
has
that's
factored.
actually a headset?
Yeah.
I was thinking that you're...
Well, no, that's like
That's a term.
that's someone that's like obsessed with like audio, which I think I am. Another thing that's factored into like the way I listen to music now is I've been messing around with like making my own music in like Logic Pro and stuff like that. And what a lot of people will do is when they're like mixing a song, which I've done, they like to listen to it on like different headphones because they want the experience that they're hearing in these headphones to translate well to like, let's just say like Apple AirPods or in the car. So I've been finding it cool to listen to music I really like and really know with different headphones than just these really high-end studio headphones.
Yeah.
Like I'll listen to it in the car and just like hear how they translate their like studio mix to fit well with all different kinds of way you listen to music.
Ryan,
so
you
I
know
think
what-
that's really
You know what
cool.
that reminds me of? When we were really little and we played Halo for the first time, we played on this really trashy TV.
Yeah.
And then whenever we upgraded TVs, it had the
Yeah.
audio, the soundbar built into it, and we realized that like they talk in it.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me
Yeah.
of.
Before we move on, because I'm a dad, there is a playlist that I kind of create when my kids are, needing spiritual guidance.
Okay, that's cool.
So I create a spiritual.
Yeah,
cool.
it's kind of like subliminal messaging.
Yeah, like
you dog.
Lecrae, Tell the World, and different things like that.
That's cool.
I like probably Lecrae is one of my favorite Christian rappers.
Also, one of
got
the
a lot of
most
music.
touching gifts I've ever gotten was for Christmas
you're
one
welcome.
year. My friends, it's not from you. I'm sorry. For Christmas one year, two of my friends, Hannah and KT, that also go to our church, they made me a CD of a playlist they made of songs that reminded me of them,
Oh,
or
really?
them of me.
Yeah,
cool.
there you
And
go.
that is so like
Yeah.
like
Spoke at your love language of music.
yeah. I mean, I think one of the coolest things to do is make a playlist for someone of music they
It
think they like.
It was kind of a
send it to
throwback to
them.
those making someone a mixtape.
Yeah,
days.
exactly. Like
they
I think
made
that's
Ryan a
so
mixtape.
cool. That's such a cool way to like tell someone that like not only that you're thinking about them, that you also know them and like you associate like songs for them. Like I think that's so cool.
When's your birthday?
June 4th.
Oh, we just passed it. I
Yeah.
was just thinking, well,
You
Christmas.
have a whole year to
So
work
all
on that
our
list.
listeners out there, if you want to reach Ryan's heart,
If you want to reach my soul, make me playlist.
make a playlist. You can mail it to the church.
Mail it
Undisclosed
to
at
the
this time.
church. Mail your phone to the church with the playlist on it, and I'll just keep the
No,
phone.
create a CD or something. Or
No, that'd be
USB.
awesome. I'm always down to listen to new music. I love discovering new music. I love
Sweet.
hearing what other people like, what genres people like, because it tells me a lot about
But
them.
there is music you hate, right?
Kind of.
Yeah,
I mean,
Casting Crowns.
well, yeah.
Rascal Flats.
I like to
Everything that I
dog
like.
on bands like that. Kind of like the bigger bands that I think are overrated on a lot of country music.
Nickelback.
But like I'm always down to like if you have a song, like if you're disagreeing with me right now and you're like, man, he'd really like this song by Casting Crowns, send it to me and I'll listen to it and it'll probably change my mind because I'll know that someone
He's a tough cookie to
someone
crack.
liked it other than just hearing it on the radio. And
Are we all in agreement that Eric Eaton is a good? He actually wrote some good songs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
what?
I'm thinking indie that he actually.
see,
He's
I think
that
you guys are.
style of music, right?
I,
don't
Ryan,
know.
I think it's
you
just
guys are
because
definitely
you're
interpreting.
I
indie
think you're
differently.
well.
Oh, okay.
I think your description was not good enough for indie. That's
said
because you
Holman.
just
Here, I'm
Be-
gonna look up a
yeah.
definition of
because
indie real
I
quick.
think that's what's in my mind. I'm thinking of some of the music I've heard that you've showed me that is definitely indie, but like I couldn't describe indie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we say, it's
So, independent music, also known as indie music, is music produced independently from commercial record labels or their subsidiaries.
Eric Eaton.
So,
Well, when you're talking about Eric Eaton, he's really one of the people that really made me want to like learn how to play the guitar
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was
Just
thinking
oh
because
yeah,
about.
he's definitely my number one.
Because he like when
Influence.
you
One of
just
my number one influences.
when you
to
just
pick up
chill
a
out
guitar.
and just play the guitar and sing a custom song to someone, just lyrics that come to his head and it was kind of funny and quirky. Like
Yeah, well, like dance, we will dance and sing.
Yeah.
that
that was
happened
so
just
good.
at church camp.
yeah,
The guy, he was just hanging out singing some songs, and he
Yeah.
just created the song.
yeah.
But I mean, I think about his music was really cool. Is like, I know he made a major focus to the lyrics.
Yeah.
And wanting to write more than just a chorus that you continue to sing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought it's kind of
Yeah. No, I
To
would
fit that
definitely say that
definition.
Eric is kind of. I mean, indie as a genre rather than like a term used to describe how.
yeah. You just read the definition.
Well,
the
I know,
definition
but
didn't agree with what you're
I'm
trying to
realizing
say.
now that
The
like.
definition's describing the word indie,
Yeah,
though, not
because
the genre
as
behind
someone
it.
that like knows the sound that people consider indie now, it is really confusing for people that don't really know that. Because I mean, I wouldn't straight up consider Eric Eaton's sound to be necessarily indie, but the way that he made the music is indie,
Yeah.
independent.
Do you think we could ask permission to have one of his songs on our?
I hope.
Probably, we could probably
Let's
ask.
do that.
I would love
We
that.
probably should move on.
Yeah, let's move
Yeah.
on. So now we're gonna go into another topic.
This
I
is,
did that with
this
my
is
hands.
big.
we may have to do a 2-part.
Yeah,
This is big
This is
for me.
big for a couple reasons. But we're going to talk about We're just going to have a conversation about Star Wars. Honestly, we're going to talk
Yeah,
about
'cause-
our favorite movies of Star Wars.
You know how much
what
anxiety
we don't like
that
about
gives me?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
What we love about Star
So-
Wars.
Well, can I share something that happened to me? And this is Star Wars related.
Okay.
But it's kind of outside
I'd
the
hope so.
talk
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Star Wars a little bit.
Kick us off.
You know, so of course Star Wars came out 73, right? That was the first one that came out 70. That was the year I was born.
A New Hope.
So Empire Strikes Back comes out like 1977,
Mm-hmm.
1978. I think it's 1977. Anyhow, I'm so excited to go see this movie, and my mom, we get there late, and I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed because I get it right into part of the beginning of the movie,
And you missed
and
it.
I missed it, and I
Yeah.
didn't know, and I had to wait till like years later to find out what I missed in the
Oh,
beginning
man.
of Empire
Oh.
Strikes Back.
Because when you, that
to
around
let
that
you know,
time-
I've forgiven my mom. It took
We
me
forgive
about
you.
25 years, but I don't hold that against her anymore. But yeah, I mean, it was such an impressional movie on me. You know, seeing Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and then of course I think I saw Star Wars on TV or something because I was too young. But so the hype to get excited for that movie, I was really looking forward to it and really excited. It might have been 1979 or something, right?
I'm not
I'm
sure
gonna
the
look that
dates
up.
on those.
Go ahead, you guys
Yeah,
can.
I mean, I'm gonna give my opinion on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I do think that I don't really have the attachment to Star Wars that a lot of people do because when I was growing up, Star Wars definitely was like around me, but I
No,
don't
it's
think.
because the first set of movies were
Yeah,
the newer ones.
yeah. Well,
Ruined it
because
for
the what are they called? The prequels.
The prequels, yeah.
That's what was around when I was younger.
Ruined the.
And I mean, they were big then, obviously, because anytime a new Star Wars movie comes out, it's huge. But I just didn't really get into them as much. I like them, but like I was big into other movies, I guess, and a lot of video games and stuff. But I still love Star Wars, but I do feel like I was robbed a little bit of that. Like when the new ones come out and everyone was freaking out and crying for hearing the opening sequence again in a new movie for the first time. I didn't really feel that, and I kind of felt left out just because I wasn't really raised on Star Wars. But I do really appreciate, like, I think that the first 3 Star Wars movies that came out, obviously, were just absolutely revolutionary. I think all movies now would be completely different without those Star Wars movies and the use of effects and practical effects and everything like that.
Well, you're very right about the effects because to us that were kind of used to the movies during that time period, it was revolutionary. Just to see some of these things that, wow, the stop animation, the everything that they added to the movies to make it look the dog fights that were happening with the Millennium Falcon and just all those things that occurred. It was really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Actually, the first movie was 1977, so that would
Okay.
explain.
Yeah.
And then Empire Strikes Back was 1980.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the reason, because I was thinking I was like 7 or 8, so I would have been 7 at that time.
It's crazy to think that the first Star Wars movie, 2077, came out 20 years before I was born.
Yeah.
That's crazy to
And
think
that's
about.
what's amazing is even we could probably have some debate about talking about the upgrades, because I think some of the upgrades, because they went back in and changed some things, changed quite a bit of things.
Yeah.
Really, some of the things I really liked, and then there were some things I hated, like Jabba the Hutt in Empire Strikes Back, or no, New Hope.
Because they went back.
They
and,
went back and
well,
added
because
him, and then
didn't
there's
they
this,
film some scenes with nothing in them, thinking that in the future they could add stuff to it?
Well, they just had extra stuff. George Lucas
Yeah, okay.
just didn't he didn't feel right about Jabba, because Jabba actually in New Hope was a guy.
Oh,
was
really?
just a regular
I didn't know
guy.
that.
And so they tried to insert Jabba the Hutt
Oh, okay.
as CGI
And it didn't
into,
fit.
and then if you notice, there's a little weird part that happens when he walks around him. It's like a little jarring.
Yeah.
That's because they just couldn't do that right.
couldn't mask it,
to
yeah.
mask it.
That's cool.
But it's interesting.
It's
but
forward thinking.
I actually have on VHS the original.
Really?
Wow.
So I don't have the Empire or Return of the Jedi, but I have Star Wars.
That might become a lot of money one day.
Yeah, maybe.
We
Go
can use
ahead.
it to fund
Sorry.
our podcast.
Man, when we talk, I love Star Wars. Very recently rewatched all of them, like literally all of them, and watched the Clone Wars on top of that. And boy, oh boy. So just talking generally about Star Wars, just to kind of, I'm sure we're going to talk about it more in the podcast. Maybe have a guest or someone talk about it. But if I'm going to talk about anything, why I like it so much, it's because like, if you've ever noticed any good movie series or any successful storyline, isn't it kind of crazy that it always can, those bigger names like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars always have such strong like biblical ties to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's because like to make a good story, it has to make sense with the way the world works. And that's exactly like what we believe in, as like that's exactly how the storyline of like the gospel goes, you know. And that's something that I really see in Star Wars, you know, the vibes with the Force and comparing that to our faith and kind of like maybe the Holy Spirit and how that is so like essential to the Jedi. I love to put us as Christians in the shoes of a Jedi, and like the Jedi to me are just so cool. Like, oh my goodness, like it just gives me chills. Like how they become Jedi, like
Yeah.
like how much you sacrifice to be a Jedi, and the equipment they use is literally their minds almost.
Yeah.
You know, a Jedi doesn't have this loadout. They get a lightsaber, which is a tool to them, but they're also, you see so many times of when they can't use a lightsaber, and they're still just as 3 times as effective. And I mean, just like
I was
the,
just going to mention what you just
so
searched.
many
The
so many
Monolith
cool
of the Heroes.
things. But I just love the fact that like big names like Lord of the Rings and especially Star Wars have gotten to the point where they are now because of the story that they carry along and the characters that they develop. And I just think that there's so many good strong ties, and it almost just reinforces, you know, why we are Christians and why we believe in what we believe is because, you know, even Narnia, like they just all these big stories that people think are like this is the best storyline we've ever seen is because it's based on a storyline of how the world actually works, and that's Christianity.
Exactly, and that's hidden truth.
Exactly,
It's hidden
that's
truth.
the word
It's
I'm
truth,
Yeah.
but it's told in a fictional
Yeah.
tale, and that's what makes it. You want to go ahead and share that book? Because I mean,
Yeah, well, I can. So Eric, while I was talking about that, searched Joseph Campbell, Monolith of a Hero, his like theory on it, or the Hero with 1,000 Faces, the one you
Yeah.
looked up. But I recently just took a class at Cedarville, which is a Bible college. It's a world mythology class. But in that, we talked a lot about like the effects of mythology and how it kind of translated to the future, and how it also was created, like stories of like Zeus and Poseidon and everything. How that was made because of thinking about things of like written in the Bible. But what he looked up is Joseph Campbell, and Joseph Campbell wrote this book. It's called The Monolith of the Hero, and it pretty much, his theory is that every good story is comprised of the same attributes all throughout history, and it's kind of the like what we think of as a stereotypical story, which Star Wars resembles exactly. Like a hero is called to action.
Young hero.
Young
Innocent.
hero. And a young innocent hero. Some kind of life-changing thing. I don't know the exact things.
He
if
you
faces
don't care,
conflict. Yeah, go for it.
Through some of it, you'd have a sage where there's some wise person that's a guide. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
You have a very evil presence, Darth Vader, who is the antagonist of the story. So these elements is what the book is really talking about. Is that these elements are there and important. That there has to be a conflict, and then you watch yourself going through this progression as being the young person going through life and having this wisdom.
I can read real quick what it is.
Go ahead.
So Joseph Campbell says that there's 12 things. I'll go through really first. The first one, and this is how a good story is written in his opinion, or not even a good story, how most stories are told. How mythology, how stories have been told for generations. The first one is ordinary world, kind of sets up the thing. You have this guy living in an ordinary world. You have call to adventure, where something happens where he is called to go on this adventure. The refusal of the call, where he's kind of battling within, doesn't really want to go. Meeting the mentor or the sage, which Eric was talking about. Crossing the threshold, which is kind of him going into the adventure, taking that first step. Test allies and enemies. That's like conflict, things that happens. The approach, which I guess is kind of talking about approaching the climax. And then you have ordeal, death, and rebirth. This is kind of like the turning point where he like meets the villain or this force he's battling, and something happens to where like the next six
Empire
steps.
Strikes Back.
Exactly. Reward, seizing the sword. This is after he goes through with that main conflict. He gets a reward. He's got it. There's the road back, which reminds me of The Hobbit, the story where he returns back after getting whatever he was going for. Can't remember right now. The road back, adventures on the road back. There's usually a lot of personal reflection about the journey there. The resurrection, where he's kind of finished that journey and he's resurrected. He's at new, and he's proud of this
There's
thing.
almost like a reborn almost.
Yeah, and then the last one's really cool. It's called Return with Elixir, and that's when he returns, but with this new experience, this new item sometimes. Like if you think of Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, he comes back with this like the stones or whatever to save the village. He returns with a reward or an experience that can change the ordinary world that was the beginning.
Exactly.
So I think that's really cool. What a genius thing to understand.
And if I want to add one more thing before I give Corey, who might be the biggest Star Wars fan, might be.
Poor guy hasn't even.
He hasn't even had the line.
He's over here
dying
waiting.
every year.
Sorry, Corey. I'm going to say one more thing, and then Corey, you can go for it. But I think that I honestly did not know that book existed.
Yeah.
And to hear
Neither did
that
I until last year
hear
in
that
college.
just reinforces everything I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that that's one of those big stories that when you watch these big adventure movies like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, you're like, man, I wish I could have an adventure like that in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And your life is set up that way to where our sinful nature gives us that start to our adventure, to where following Christ is that adventure. And I just watching those movies really reminds me that we are already in that adventure. And I think that's so cool because I would love to be a Jedi, or I would love to be one of those few on the adventure in Lord of the Rings. But you can be, because you are equipped with the same things that the Jedi are, talking about, kind of you're
Absolutely.
That's just so cool to me. And that's why I love Star Wars so much, is because that just reminds me that that is part of it.
That is why it's that hidden truth, because that's the truth we all long for. That's the truth that we all would like to see happen for us.
Exactly.
And that is the truth that God says, that He calls us all to according to His purpose.
Yeah.
And so it is really cool. And it's
Call to adventure.
That's why these movies speak to us and do so well.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars was cool. That had all the special effects. It had all these things. And I know Corey still hasn't had a chance to talk.
Corey, man, I'm so sorry.
But it was the story. It was the story that really made it. It made it just in a time when it was coming out, and that really, this was just shortly after the Vietnam War, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so this was a movie that gave people hope. And we can have something good and
people,
positive.
Non-believers out there that love the movie, just it's so hard from a Christian's perspective. It's like you can that movie can kind of happen in your life.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like you just have to have that leap of faith to believe in, serving a higher purpose. So
Yeah.
Corey, go for it.
So, I'm actually going to take a different
Sure.
take on this than
He
you
just
think.
bashes Star Wars.
No,
Like, whoa.
Logan is right. I absolutely love Star Wars. The first time I ever watched Star Wars, I actually watched them all chronologically in like a really short time span. So I watched the prequels first and then the original movies, which, yes, the original movies are better
Yeah.
story-wise. But
And can I just interject something? The reason why I don't like them as well is because they try to explain too much. The originals, there was a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
Good.
I like the explanation. I can see your point of like explaining too much.
Yes.
But
Like the midichlorian.
I heard,
chlorine,
yeah, like that part.
See, I think
I-
that happened because by the time
That's
they're
the
ready
origin.
to make the prequels, everyone was so invested in the lore of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they wanted
Well-
to kind of deliver a little bit on that.
Let
which-
Corey speak his mind. He's
Yeah.
gonna
Sorry.
explode.
Well, no. But I will say, I watched a video not that long ago, and it actually blew my mind because it actually goes back to what you were talking about the making of a hero. And I loved Star Wars. I like all 9, even though like some of them are definitely not as good as some of the other ones. But I didn't realize until I saw this that all 9 movies are exactly the same. Like, and it's weird to describe, but once I walk you through this, it's really
Take my hand
It
and
really
take it for a
is.
walk
I will.
for it.
because it goes along the whole like making of a hero thing. But like by the last like 3, like I thought they were good, but I just like they brought back too much. I felt like the reintroducing Palpatine was
Yeah.
almost too much. Like it just like it was good, but like it didn't really make sense to me. Like
Yeah.
I didn't. Like, I know they tried to say, oh, like, it was his mind in a clone, or, like, there's different things like that they talked about.
Well, really, I blame the middle movie for that because that middle movie could have done more to
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
Yeah.
or kind of set up the next movie.
Yeah. But because of that, I felt myself, like, in the last 3 being like, I don't know why I'm like, I love Star Wars so much. I'm so into it. And I'm still into them because I, like, want to see the characters and stuff. But it just felt, like, almost predictable to me the whole time. And then it was like someone walked you back through and they were like, basically they ripped off the first 3 movies 2 more times
Yeah.
because they picked a really important person that was essentially a child. Like Anakin was the youngest,
Yeah.
but Luke was like supposed to be a teenager, and then Rey was also kind of supposed to be a teenager, and they were actually really important people, but you're made to think they're nobody. And then again, the sage comes in, the same person comes in, trains them. So like for Luke, it's Yoda. For Anakin, it's or for Luke, it's Obi-Wan, and then he goes to Yoda, and then like Anakin, it's Qui-Gon at first, and then he kind of gets brought up more by Obi-Wan, and then for Rey, it ends up being Luke. And,
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
no,
you.
you're fine.
But the fact is that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
That's what I thought maybe was going to happen. But then the way Luke came into the Last Jedi, or even before that, it was like a letdown.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like that's not the Luke I would have.
Yeah,
I thought he
and-
would have been this wise sage
Yeah.
to help guide Rey.
Yeah.
And I would say that more in what they did the last movie was make Princess Leia.
The sage.
actually the
yeah.
sage.
Yeah, that would have been really
Yeah.
But that, unfortunately, she passed away, so that could have even been a little bit more developed in this story.
Yeah,
But
and who knows? Maybe that was their initial intention because, like, obviously, once
Could have been.
Carrie Fisher passed away, they had to do what they had to do to
Yeah.
make that finish up. But like, they all, were they kind of battled the same thing. Like they kind of like Luke was the least, I think, at battling like between the light and the dark, and then essentially the major antagonist of all of them was Palpatine.
Yeah.
So like it ended up they brought him back in. So even though
for all 9 movies,
yeah, for all
he's the-
9 movies,
yeah.
he's the bad guy. And then also you have the Death Star, and then they're building the same weapon. And then in the last one, it's different because it's like the giant fleet.
Yeah.
but,
But
it's
each one of them
essentially
could be
they're all
each one of
Star
them could be
Destroyers.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like same bad guys, same weapon to try and kill everything. They, and so like that
I
really
think they
made me think.
didn't use the Knights of Ren because I haven't read the books, but
Yeah.
there's more fleshed out stories
Yes,
for the Knights
yes.
of Ren.
Yeah.
They were only
That
like a
stuff's
side
really cool.
story.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been cool to bring them in more. And I think killing off Snook in the middle one was bad.
I
What
think
is
that
his
was
name?
Snooki.
Snooki.
Well,
But the other thing another thing that really bugs me about the first set of the prequels is that they killed Darth Maul, which I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think-
he could have been a real
Oh
antagonist
yeah.
well,
throughout the first set.
and have you heard all of the like? It's not really a conspiracy theory, but it's kind of like the stuff that actually like Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be the bad guy.
I've heard about
Have you
that.
seen that?
No, but
So-
that would have been annoying.
Well, no. So that's why they. So that's
the
what
point.
supposedly there's like original scripts where there's like, and if you go back and watch the movies, there's a couple videos on YouTube and it's super convincing actually. But like after the first movie of the prequels where Jar Jar was in it, everyone was like, "Wow, he's so annoying." Like they wrote it off, but like Palpatine, like when he's in the Senate and stuff. Like he would go to talk and you would see like Jar Jar talking in the background and they said he was actually like using the Force and like making Palpatine say his will. And then also
jeez.
like, but then also like when they first meet Jar Jar, he like when he's taking them to his home world or whatever, he like jumps and does this crazy flip in the air and then dives into the water. But then he acts like he's clumsy all the time. And they were like he actually did like some kind of force jump and he's actually not. But then
That's
also
great. That's a cool theory.
But then also when they go to like underwater to his world, they like immediately are like kind of like arrested. They're not really arrested, but they're all like have their weapons pointed at Jar Jar, not even the Jedi, and they're like, you're not supposed to be here. And Obi-Wan and Anakin are like, why are they like this with you? And he was like, oh, it's because I'm clumsy. But like the theory is they all knew that he was like Sith. So like he was originally supposed to be
That's
Sith.
sweet.
And then
That's
whenever
so cool.
they go to that battle in the field, whenever they go to the battle in the field, Jar Jar does all this random clumsy stuff, but he ends up like blowing up tanks and all kinds of. He ends up taking people out, and they said it was originally based on this form of like kung fu. The character was based off of where they use confusion to like actually take people down because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So you don't
What's
know
that
how to guard
fighting
it.
called? Drunken style or something? Drunken
Yeah,
Master.
but so there's that. But then also, one of the times that like the first times that Obi-Wan and Anakin are going up to meet Padme when she's at the Senate and they're like going up to her room or whatever, Jar Jar like is talking and stops and walks over to the elevator, and then the elevator comes up and it's like he could sense that they were coming. And he like went and met them, but so
Yeah.
they were supposed to be.
I mean, I think
supposedly.
I think it's a cool theory. I do
No.
believe that
Jar
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 Binks
was mainly
should have
there
never
for
been in it.
comedic relief.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he was actually taking the place of C-3PO.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, because C-3PO is kind of like that character in the
Yeah.
original
Him and
series.
R2 both were
Yeah,
kind
or
of
kinda like
that.
relief.
Yeah, they're kind of to make you feel okay. The story is kind of maybe changing, but you have those as kind of your reliable,
Yeah.
go tos at
Yeah.
different points of
Yeah.
the news.
I think that's why I'm a huge fan of like The Mandalorian, because I feel like it gave me more vibes of the original. Like
Yes.
it didn't seem
It's a great show.
over exaggerated or
Yeah.
anything. It felt like it really fit really well for me.
Yeah.
But I just think, like I said, I love all of it, but the
And-
the
and-
Palpatine thing was too much for me.
Now, is it true that no, that can't be true then?
What?
I was almost going to say that he's been in all the movies, but he wasn't in 7 and 8. The actor that played
He's-
it. I think
okay.
that is cool
No.
that he
It's
came
the
back.
same
from
actor,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the same actor
That
that
is
played
cool.
in all the.
Well,
I also think it's
Palpatine
cool how
parts.
in the movies, a
Well, he
lot
wasn't
of
so
the,
neat.
I think the newer ones did this a lot, where they recreated the characters that had passed away, but it
Yeah,
looked
Rogue
so
One.
so
Rogue
good.
One was not very good.
You didn't like Rogue One?
No, I mean it was a good movie, but when they added the general to that
Oh,
movie,
yeah. You
they
didn't
brought
think it
him back.
Yeah.
I didn't think it looked very good.
Oh, really?
Now Princess Leia,
Oh, Leia.
Leia turned out well.
yeah, that was cool.
I just didn't like
Yeah.
the general in the Rogue
But-
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Also, I just like to shout out all the crazy like stuff for the Star Wars universe. Like, there's so much extra stuff that people
Oh,
don't even
yeah.
know about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I found out not that long ago. I was watching some videos on YouTube that apparently, like, way back when Star Wars first came out, they even did like this random like spoof stuff, and there was a TV show about Chewbacca, and he had a family. He had like a wife and a little kid, and it was like a comedy TV show. And they lived in like a tree hut or
Just a
something.
Sasquatch.
See, I think it's
Yeah.
cool
There
how
used to
much
be-
how
there's
much
a-
lore Star Wars
Yeah,
has.
that's
Well,
because
you
there's
watched any of
thousands
the Ewok movies? There's actually
of
Ewok
books.
movies.
Yeah, there's Ewok movies,
And
and
there was
even
actually
all the books that people
cartoon.
have written and stuff that are canon and not canon. It just really hit the sweet spot for a lot.
There's
of people.
actually, if you watch the Muppet Show, there was episodes of Star Wars and the Muppets show.
There's like a big meme with Kermit the Frog being like the Sith Lord, and like,
Yeah.
have you seen that meme? It's so huge.
Yeah.
But
That's what I believe.
to give you an overall view of how I feel about the totality of the movies, the original always will be number one in my mind
Yeah.
because it just was special. Okay, it's a complete story. The prequels, there's elements I really liked, but there's elements I really hated.
Yeah.
I didn't like the explanation of stuff. I like the mystery continuing. I mean, give it to me in doses, but don't
Yeah.
go full on explain. Like the kind of like the virgin birth explanation, I didn't really like. I felt
Yeah.
like that was too blatant to take that away from, of course, being a Christian.
Yeah.
But I do like the elements. Darth Maul to me could have been
that was a
so
huge-
much, and I know they in certain things like
The Clone Wars. Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't going to mention that, but you told me not to
Yeah.
mention Clone Wars.
we
We're
talked
trying to
about
stay away from the Clone Wars because we talk about that too much.
Yeah, but I think that he could have been really something. I would have loved to seen him to be that continual protagonist, right?
Yeah.
all the way through the first set
until I think
until the very end.
I think it would have been cooler if, like you said, at the end of that, like for Anakin to become Darth Vader, if Palpatine finally turned at the end and was like, kill him.
Yeah,
And like then there was like a big fight. Like when
Exactly.
Anakin finally
Absolutely.
turned, like his last challenge was he had to kill Darth Maul, and
Yes.
that battle could have been
I think that would have been awesome,
incredible.
And it could have been Darth Maul was causing Anakin to be angry, like he
Yeah.
was behind the Sand People killing his mom. He was behind so much more, and then you could build in because that's one of the things I felt detached from. Was like I didn't really feel like anything that was shown in the movies really made me feel like Anakin was so angry to do these things, like
Yeah.
kill a bunch of kids, that were going to be Jedis. I just didn't feel like he crossed
Yeah.
that bridge
like
yet.
I think it would have been better going on your thought process, like if Darth Maul was like in charge of the Sand People when they killed his mom, so like then he was angry at Darth Maul, but then like if there was like a raid on the Jedi Temple and Darth Maul killed the kids,
Yeah.
and then Anakin was like, how could you do this? And then like the building anger and tension.
Or Darth Maul could have endangered, Queen
Padme.
Padme. He could have endangered Padme in some way, and he felt like he had to, go to the dark side to rescue her. I don't know.
Maybe we
because
should
of
all
Darth
dress up and act this out in real life.
Yeah.
I like
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
We'll dress up as the Star Wars characters, and we'll have sound guy Fatima Arnsworth film.
He can
a
be Jar
short.
Jar, but he can also be behind the camera so no one has to see him.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should probably just go to the
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the final thing.
Yeah,
So we're gonna be talking about passages from Isaiah, which is in the
like this.
Bible.
Oh, really?
I like
Had
this.
to draw a line between Star Wars, but yeah, we each found a good verse from Isaiah. Eric, did you name your kid after Isaiah?
Not necessarily. I mean, we did. But I do like to tell Isaiah that, hey, there was a prophet Isaiah,
Yeah.
and really, listen to some of the things he said, because Isaiah as a whole is an amazing book of the Bible,
Yeah.
and I would say that it's not really appreciated as much as it should be,
Yeah.
because there's just so much good content. And one of the things I love about it is it really kind of pours. God is pouring out his heart to the people.
Yeah.
And here we're in the Old Testament. And here God's pouring his heart out to the people saying,
Yeah.
hey. And it's also prophesying what's to come. The Messiah is coming.
For sure.
I wish
Yeah.
my mom
So-
named me like that, like after something cool. She just saw a road sign said Logan on. It was like, you know what?
I wish
think
my mom
You
named
know
me
what? I
Leviticus.
like Logan.
Thanks,
Good
Eric.
name.
I'm
You
gonna
know
name
why
my
it's not in the
kids
Bible?
Leviticus,
You know why it's not in the
Revelation.
Bible? You want to know?
Why, Eric?
Because you were meant to live now, and you're serving Jesus now. So your
Wow.
your history has not been written yet.
I'm gonna cry.
Wow. that got so deep so fast.
Ryan, did you say you're gonna name your kid Revelation?
and Leviticus. And then
We'll
maybe
just
even
call him
Genesis.
Well, he just Levi. I mean,
I'm gonna name
that's
my
what
kid
people call.
Philemon.
Okay. Oh gosh.
All right, who wants to
Okay.
go first?
I'll kick us off.
Kick
if
us
you want.
off. Don't kick us hard, but kick us off.
Poor Corey
Well-
didn't get to start our Star Wars conversation,
Yeah, I know.
but we let you do the Bible.
Okay. Hey, that's fine. The Bible's more important.
Yeah,
A
that's
little
true.
bit,
That's
but-
true. No, it is.
Okay, so I'd like to. I love Isaiah. I want to start with that because, like you said,
Thank you for loving my son.
he's a good kid.
Eric, relax.
But we went through, and I think I might have touched on this before. At Cedarville, Logan, Brian, and I'm alumni. Ryan's not alumni. Logan's still going.
Still there.
I'm the
But when I was in my Theology 2 class, our professor for Theology 2
Who was
was
it?
also it's
Dr. Wood?
Gil Hooley.
Oh man, I never
So,
had him, but he's a cool guy.
Dr. Gil Hooley was in charge of the philosophy department as well, while that was still a major. And so he really made people think outside the box, and he would make us argue our points against him as well in class to like solidify your thought processes, kind of
cool.
thing, which
I
was
like that.
really
Apologetics.
he would put us in groups of like 3 or 4, and we would basically have to write like an argument to question like theological questions. So
Can't wait for that class.
we had it depends who you have.
I'm in Theo 1 now, so that.
But he also, I had never taken the book of Matthew as seriously as like he taught us that way, and it's really cool because I bought this study Bible that also has a chart in it, and it has all of these like prophecies in Isaiah, and then matches Matthew and shows like where Isaiah prophesied it, and then God fulfilled it in Matthew through Jesus. So it's got like, it's really cool because I'll have to print it. Maybe we can print it off and we can put it on the Facebook page even just to
Sure,
like show
yeah.
it. But it shows like God prophesied this here and then completed this here. Well, one of the reason I'm talking about that is one of the questions Dr. Gilhooly made us really go about.
Gilhooly.
He made us argue about Jesus and talk about the gospel without using the New Testament. So we had to make that argument
great.
with the Old
I
Testament.
like that.
And it was, and so
That's a
I'm
good
gonna talk.
church thing.
I'm gonna talk about Isaiah 53 because this is one of
Mm-hmm.
the like chunks that we talked about because this was like a big assignment and there was a lot more into it than this. But really, in Isaiah 53, it talks about Jesus. So
Oh really?
yeah,
Joking.
yeah.
What is it?
So
Are you
I'm gonna
53
start.
verse what?
It's Isaiah 53. Pretty much the whole thing is, but I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, he was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, as one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he was borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. So, like,
Dang.
that literally tells you the story of Jesus right there before Jesus was even born. So,
crazy.
and that whole chapter, I mean, it continues on.
You know what I love about that too? I almost feel like it tells you exactly what happened, but it also, I feel like it tells you more information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's coming from this perspective of how everybody's seeing Jesus, and then also what Jesus is really going through.
Yeah, and-
right. I love that.
And to add on to that, like after you said that, this kind of does that too. On in verse 7, it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth.
Yeah.
Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. So it gives me chills, really,
Yeah.
because like
And we're talking forward to 500 years before the
exactly.
That's
This is
crazy.
like 500 years before Jesus, and yet God is telling us right here
Yeah.
exactly what's going to happen and how we're going to be saved and what he's going to do for us.
So detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what's cool about Acts is that we find Philip and he's with this eunuch from Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses that exact
Yeah.
text to lead him to Jesus.
Cool, crazy.
Because you remember, he didn't have the Gospels to go to, but he's taking Old Testament and he's using Old Testament that somebody's reading and leads them to Christ.
Yeah. So
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And
So-
what's really sorry,
no, go
I
ahead.
keep
Go
going.
ahead. No, you're good. And this is such a
I'm gonna have to get slapped. or
this is
something.
no, this is such like a
but
there's so much information.
Yeah.
because it's so cool. Because and this what speaks to me about this is the eunuch is already at a place where he's wondering, he's questioning, who is this person that the scripture's talking about? Is this himself?
Yeah.
Is he talking about himself? Isaiah talking about himself, or who is he talking about? And that's God is using this passage to already speak to him, and then Philip comes along and just kind of dives into it and explains to him about Jesus. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And that was at the time it seemed so difficult
Yeah.
to like that assignment to like how would I share the gospel with someone if I didn't have the New Testament?
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
to add to your point, I mean, that would be a great challenge for a church, really,
Yeah.
for all of us to kind of dive deep into. If you just remove the New Testament, how would you prove that Jesus was Jesus?
I smell a
in the Old
sermon
Testament?
series.
let's do it.
The wheels are turning. I'm kind of excited. I'm preaching here in a few weeks. Maybe this will be it.
Can I
Because
join your prep? I want to study this with you.
Because I think about the whole thing with Exodus. The whole Passover. And that was something that was going to set the tone for what was going to happen. Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I love you, Eric.
I think Corey
You're a very
Wynn's the best.
passionate
I
guy.
know. I'm kind of pumped up. Now shut up.
Your passion is
but-
uncanny.
If you haven't read Isaiah in a long, because Isaiah is super long. There's like what 60,
Yeah.
64,
It's a big boy.
66 chapters.
But it is
Something like
it is so powerful, because you think about, again, like I said, God pouring His heart out, and that's part of
Yeah.
what He's saying is going to happen. And then when you read the New Testament, you're like, wow, that's just
Yeah.
it's just
well,
amazing.
crazy.
and if you didn't know Isaiah was in the Old Testament and you're reading it now, you could easily think this was a New Testament book.
Yes,
Like, because
Yeah.
just all the information that's giving you about Christ and about our relationship with God, like, that's in this book, it's just like, it feels like a New Testament book, but it's amazing that God had this
Yeah.
prophesied way before it happened.
yeah, definitely.
Good job, Corey.
I can go
job.
real quick. Mine's
Sure.
going to be a lot less mind blowing, I guess. I mean, it's still an awesome verse.
You say that all the time, and I think we dive deep into what you say.
But mine is Isaiah 41:13. For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. So there's a lot of reasons why I like that. First, it's a great thing. It's a great point on dealing with fear, obviously, because obviously God, although He is way, way above us, we can still reach up and take His hand. And that's another cool thing. I really like the symbolism of God being our Father, obviously. Like, that's a very well-known thing, that God is our Father. But I love that symbolism and how powerful it is, because as someone who is obviously older, not as old as Eric, but older, I mean, I don't have that same feeling of being able to reach out and, like, grab one of my parents' hands when I'm scared, because I mean, I'm an adult. I still can if I wanted to, but it's just
Trisha would
it's,
hold
weird.
I know. But
Your
I mean,
dad be like, "What are you doing?"
I know, but I mean, it's a weird thing to like want to do that. And I even think of like old people like you, Eric. I mean,
Thanks,
I mean, like I feel like for you to want to reach out and hold a parent's hand, like
Yeah.
being able to do that
No.
with your actual parent is something that'd be weird. But like that relationship we always have with God, like we're always able to just reach up and grab His hand for Him to lead us through wherever, just like a parent would, because He is our heavenly parent. And
So-
I just think it's a really cool thing
Well, when he says right hand was pictured as your strength.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so all the strength we have is it should be in God. And
Yeah.
in God, it can be our strength.
For real.
And so that's really
Yeah. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to cover real quick. Is just that symbolism of the God being our Father.
Yeah,
Because it's such a powerful thing.
I like that.
Just to be able to have a parent with us at all times, because that's really what it is. I mean, a lot of people find comfort as a child with having a parent close to them, like separation anxiety, and that's something that goes away as we grow up. But it's something that when we have God, we don't even have to worry about going away. Like, we can have separation anxiety with God because we know that He's never going to go away. Like that's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, as a kid, we do have these moments of fear, but I still have that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's things I get scared of.
Yeah.
Not maybe the same way, but there's things of, self-confidence. There's things of, what is the enemy going to do to me?
Yeah.
Is things going to work out for me? Am I
Exactly.
going to be a success? Am I going to be a failure?
Yeah.
All these fears that come over you. And it's just great to know that even though I'm older and I'm, in my 40s, almost 50, that I'm still holding on to God's hand.
Exactly, yeah.
I still can hold on to God. And that through whatever I'm facing. And I think that's it, right? We're all on a journey.
Yeah.
And
We're all in
no
the
matter-
monomyth of the hero.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm holding on to him.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Oh, don't
Didn't-
spoil your Quake
didn't-
energy.
didn't want to
Sponsored
start
by
an
7-Eleven.
Didn't want to start an earthquake.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's mine. So I'll
Sounds
drop
good.
the mic on that.
Mine was Isaiah 58, verse 9, and I'll read the first part of it for you. It says, "Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and He will say, 'Here I am.'" So I always like to read verses and kind of apply it to something maybe most people don't think about. I like doing that in this whole scripture time. The way I took that, for me personally, I feel like I've gotten into this repetition in my prayer journey to where I feel like I do that, routine prayer. And I really think that this verse, the specific part where it says, "You shall cry out, and I will say, I'm here. Here I am." I think it's important for us when we're praying to make sure we are always crying out to God. I think that sometimes in our prayer we can get into a list of, here's what I need, God, when are you going to give it to me? And I think that it's important to think that our prayer, we can reap so much more from our prayer if we're, having more of those moments where we're on our knees praying to God and legitimately following the Lord's prayer structure to where we, glorify God. And then, then that slowly goes into where you do tell God what's on your mind.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is more of magnifying God through your situation, and how it's important to be intentional, and it's important to set a time specifically for prayer, to where it's not, you're kind of in a room or you're in an atmosphere where you're just kind of praying in the back of your mind. You're thanking God for things, but to legitimately have some time set away from that and to actually cry out to God is really important. So,
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
period.
Drop the mic on that.
I don't think we do that enough.
Yeah.
Because he should be the one we turn to. And that's the problem with mankind. We turn to other things, right? We turn to other things to fill a void in our life. I mean, the reason why alcohol is right up there as number one probably product that's sold in all the supermarkets, gas stations, and everything is because people turn to that to fill a void in their life or to numb the pain or to make them feel better. I mean, and not to get too into that, but it always bothers me to see like alcohol is lifted up as this cure-all in people's lives to make them feel better about their life. No, God should be that.
Yeah,
God should be the source of our strength. Why people turn to drugs, why there's so many things out there that we look to bring happiness to our life, when it's God that ultimately brings happiness to us.
Sure.
And those are all idols. Those are all things that we build up to make be more important than God himself. And kind of speaking to idols, that's kind of where I'm at.
Good transition.
Isaiah chapter, thank you. Isaiah chapter 40. Took me a while. Isaiah chapter 46. This is probably one of my passages. I've shared this with a lot of times because it goes into talking about idols and that it's a waste of time. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this last part is just or this part I'm reading here just hits me for me. It says, "Remember this and stand firm. Recall it to your mind, you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is no one like me, declaring the end from the beginning and the ancient times, things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose. Calling a bird of prey from the east, the man of my counsel from a far-off country. I have spoken. I will bring it to pass. I purposed it, and I will do it." And I just love that because, one, God's saying, nothing's going to stop me.
Yeah.
It's my purpose. It's my plan. I will do it.
Yeah.
And it will be carried out whether you think it will be or not. But he's saying, just remember what I've done. Remember who I am. And there's so many times that we forget who God really is.
Exactly.
Even as a Christian, and I've been a Christian for a long time now, there's times where I really don't appreciate him like I should.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things is we talked about Star Wars, and we love to fantasize. Oh, I'd love to be a Jedi, or oh, I'd love to be this character. I'd love to be Harry Potter. I'd love to be, whatever it is. We fantasize of being special, about being
Dewey
unique.
from School of Rock for me.
Yeah. Actually, I just watched that recently.
Yeah.
Again with my kids. But the whole idea with this is that we all fantasize about these things. But I think when we get to heaven, we're going to just be blown away because we won't realize how important we really are. The devil has this kind of filter, and I think about this like the Matrix. There's this the filter where you think it's reality and you think that this is what really life is about, but it's not. It's fake. It's not real. It's not right. There's something wrong with it.
Or
Yeah.
the village.
When we get to heaven, we're going to be totally blown away by his love,
exactly.
by his
Yeah.
all this fear will be removed from us. It's just going to be unreal.
Yeah.
And we don't have to question if we're valued or cared about anymore. We will know that and I'm sure that I think about and maybe I'm stretching a little too far, but we know our brain is not at full capacity. We know that we're not using the full potential of our brain. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's crazy. to think about.
We're not using it. What if it's just totally unlocked in heaven?
Yeah.
What if we're able to do things that sometimes we see in movies that, we don't think we can, but then we get to heaven and there's these things that just maybe not quite exactly like there are in the movies, but they're it's just, I don't know. I just think
know what
that's
you're talking
really
about.
interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Because God is he is so amazing. And I think that we underestimate that.
Yeah.
I think we kind of push it off the side. Yeah, I love God. Yeah. And it kind of goes to a book that I've actually given to some people recently. I'm not a fan. And I think a lot of times we're a fan of Jesus. We cheer him on.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
But we're not a follower.
Exactly.
And really we need to be followers. So you need to get out of the stands and get into the game.
That is such a
And
good
actually-
plug. That's a great book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Have you guys all read that? Have you read that?
Not yet, actually.
It's really good.
Oh wait, maybe I have.
It's really
Yeah, it's
good.
Kyle Idleman is the author.
Yeah, that book hit me hard.
Yeah.
It's it's good.
Sweet.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, Merrick. Man, Merrick.
Good job, Merritt.
Good job, Merrick.
Thank you.
Good job, Eric.
That was good. That was a good episode.
You should be a pastor.
Maybe someday.
I admire how you're able to put these concepts into words because
Yeah.
that's something I struggle with is being able
Good
to
teacher.
things are in my mind and then I feel like I have such a tight filter when I speak of it and only parts and pieces of what I
It's because you
am
can
trying
only
to
use a
express.
certain percentage of your brain.
Yeah.
Well, you think about too, the way we're designed to worship.
Yeah.
We worship things. I mean, not that I don't know about us, as far as actors or
Yeah.
celebrities, we'd still probably be in awe if we saw them close.
Yeah.
But why is that?
I
They're just
know.
regular people.
Exactly.
Especially and
But that design was there for us to gravitate something lifted up. from
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's what I was gonna say is amazing for people once you are a Christian and you see people that aren't Christians, seeing how even before we came to know Christ, God designed us that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
To see people
That's
having that innate feeling of I need to worship.
Mm-hmm.
I was designed to worship.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even if they don't recognize that's what it is.
Yeah.
But even if it's the PS5,
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
those people that are reading all of the stuff on the about it and are constantly being updated, and they're I can't wait to buy this. I can't wait to buy this. This is what I've been waiting for. They're worshiping that
Exactly.
to an extent, and it's like, it just amazes me that God built us that way. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they can't see it as that, but as Christians we can be like, wow, God made us to do this
Exactly.
beautiful thing
See,
for
like
Him.
things like that, especially thinking about the brain. I don't want to go on to a tangent, but I think that that's a big encouragement sometimes for people doubting. I know that like evolution and stuff like that is a very prominent thing in these days, even in schools and stuff. But I remember there was a point in college when I was taking a biology class, and we were talking about things that just wouldn't make sense if we were a product of just simple evolution coming through. And that's a big thing, is how our brains work. Like Eric and Corey were saying, our kind of draw to worship something or draw to hold something in that regard, that's not an evolutionary thing.
Well-
that's
Well,
something that
think
can
of the one.
Exactly, yeah.
We worship. I mean, we want someone to rule over us. We
Exactly.
don't want a committee.
Exactly.
We always look to one president,
Exactly.
king, whatever it is,
For
boss.
sure. And that's something that isn't explained by
Well,
evolution. Like
and
that's something that just is it's part of our nature, and it's something that I truly believe was given to us by a single creator who
Yeah.
gave us that to look to him for.
and it's so funny you like brought up the evolution thing too, because I was reading something the other day, and I mean this is kind of getting off a little bit, but talking about like just going off what Eric said, how much we underestimate and like who God is and like undervalue sometimes. Like they were talking about the like speed at which a baby develops in the womb, and it's like according to evolution, like if like the cells develop the way they did and how cells normally develop in the human body, it's like scientifically impossible for cells to replicate fast enough
Yeah.
to go from like when pregnancy starts to having a fully formed baby,
Yeah.
and at no other point in any other part of your body or in any other way is it even remotely possible. It's not even close to
Yeah.
possible, but somehow God makes it happen.
It's
Like it's
accelerated,
it's
yeah.
literally just
Well, it
That's
goes.
crazy.
It goes
Yeah.
to. It can't be just, coincidence.
Yeah,
it can't
exactly.
just be random. It has to be. There's a design.
Exactly.
It's designed.
See,
you know?
I think it's really cool to find comfort and find answers with things like evolution by just looking at how you are possible.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really powerful thing. Like thinking of how our brain and even things like our eyes, like looking at how we're made and looking at our image, we're made in the image of God, and seeing those things within ourselves
Yeah.
and how it's possible.
It's kind of just like thinking of how, like, how did this start from a Big Bang, if that's
Yeah.
not true? Like
Yeah.
the love you have for your own
even
child.
Right now,
like that.
scientists are looking for Earth-like planets,
Uh-huh.
which is it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, oh for sure.
But their scope of what an Earth-like planet is kind of wide and
yeah.
vast.
Uh-huh.
It still wouldn't be even close, hardly, to finding what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just amazing that what we have here is so remote in statistics and just the idea of creating the exact replica of what we have here. It's just
Yeah.
impossible to find, and so they have to say, well, we won't have it the same size, or we won't have it the same distance from
Yeah.
the sun, or they have all these things that they've changed and said, well, we'll go look at these examples and see. But it's just, when you think about what that does to gravity, what that does to heat, what that
Yeah.
does to cold, what that does, this was specifically designed. Sorry, we were off topic. I'll stop.
Yeah.
No.
This I
But
think
I get
it was a
fired up.
good conclusion.
Yeah,
really.
for
I
sure.
mean, just thinking
Yeah.
about
Maybe we could pick it up at another
Someone out
topic.
there might have needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Hear that.
Thanks
Yeah.
for listening.
Yeah, for
Thanks
sure.
for staying tuned with
Yeah,
us.
so we're going to end the episode there, but
Yeah.
before we start talking about anything more mind-blowing, I guess. But thank you so much to
Yeah.
7-Eleven. Also, I have an idea, and I know we've been doing word of the day, and that person who does the word first, but what if we did the first person to take a picture of them with a Quake Energy and post it in the comments on Facebook wins a free sticker from us?
Yeah. Well, maybe even more. Maybe we can get them a free Quake.
Yeah, we can get a Quake
We'll
and a
get
sticker.
them. We'll get them a Quake to replace their Quake that they
For
took a
sure.
picture.
So yeah, first
Refill.
person to take a picture
refill,
of a
free
Quake.
refill.
Just pick any flavor. I definitely recommend black cherry. That's what we're all drinking right now. Or, you know what? We can even
or
do...
the iced cappuccinos, but
Yeah.
it can't be.
It has to be the 7-Eleven
It
ones
has
because
to
they're
be
better
the-
than the
Yeah.
Starbucks ones.
exactly.
So yeah, take a picture of Quake Energy or... Let me read this real quick.
It's iced cappuccino.
Iced cappuccino chilled coffee drink from 7-Eleven. Yeah. First person to post a picture with that gets a free sticker and a replacement product. So thank you all for watching. Thank you 7-Eleven for being our sponsor. We love
Bye,
you guys.
guys. See ya.
Wait, I want to keep talking until it says exactly 29 minutes.
Oh,
So yeah, that's the episode.
I love you, Ron.
Oh, thank you, Eric. I
That
love
was
you
really
too.
sweet.
And thank you
Love
so
you,
much
Corey.
for watching More Dilemma. We
I love
love
you
all
guys.
250 plus of you.
You're almost there.
Share the podcast. Bye.
And goodbye.
Peace.